All right, everybody, it's time to look at these dog vests. So today we're going to look at the dog vest and highlight some specific things. First off, this is an unnecessary item that is relatively new in the dog culture. It's completely unnecessary. It is a form of cosplay. It is a form of narcissism. It carries several risks for dog owners and dogs. It has several downstream health risks that affect society. And there are many things that we should be putting our time and effort into spending money on. Also, the manufacturers of these vests, they should be marketing other stuff to us. So, disclaimer, I don't have a big problem with China making products for Americans, but it should be products like playground equipment, hiking equipment, fitness equipment, stuff that we can share with each other and do fun things together. Not dog ownership. Dog ownership is nothing more than an expense and a liability, and it comes with a lot of downstream problems. One of those problems is that more and more dog ownership means separation from your humans, a reason not to visit family. Dogs are better than kids, dogs are better than people, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so I mentioned that these vests are made in China. Well, let me go back here for a second. We have this little thing called Rufus. Let me do a little exercise here. I'm going to type in country of origin. Let's see what it does. So it won't tell us. I've noticed this in a bunch of these. Now, if this was made in USA, it would be plastered all over here. So let's go to the brand that this is called. So they call this Sea Life Light. So this is a trademark of a Chinese company. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It looks like Zhuhai Kaliguang Semiconductor Application Technology. So you know that these people are they're watching all this marketing information. They're watching Americans blow through all types of cash to buy these, and they're watching Americans do less outdoor activities like motorcycles, camping, hammocking, rope climbing, doing push-ups down at the park. So of course they're going to be pushing their marketing for this. So about dog collars and dog leashes, according to the World History Encyclopedia, and probably anybody that's a little bit over the age of maybe 30 these days, dog collars used to be just a simple rope. You could go down to your hardware store or borrow some rope from a neighbor, and you could easily learn a few knots and make the best, most functional, most USA made, kick ass dog leash, dog collar, dog tie out for the front porch in case the dog was sick and you need to put him outside. All you needed was a chunk of USA made rope. So these harnesses are just relatively new, and they're not anything that we really need. If you get together with your big brother, your little brother, maybe your uncle that's a Boy Scout leader, they could tell you how to tie up a dog leash real easy. But then again, most dog owners continually separate themselves from human contact, so they're probably never going to learn that. Instead, they'll just go blow 40, $50 on one of these ridiculous vests. So another point I have about these dog vests, it's just cosplay. It's like narcissism. It's like, look at me, look at me, look at my self-expression and community connection. So that's very, very interesting about the community connection. Let's notice this trend about dog owners. They claim dogs are better. They claim all they need is a dog. More and more dogs are portrayed as better than humans. Yet dog owners constantly need this. They constantly need to reaffirm themselves in front of their fellow humans. Look at me, I have a dog with 47 different patches on him. Look at him, he's a fur missile. Mommy says I'm special, I'm nervous, pet me, don't pet me. All these dog owners, they say that dogs are better, but more and more, every single frickin' product that they buy is designed to reconnect them to community. Interesting. but it's still like narcissism. For example, narcissists like to dress up to command attention and admiration, using their wardrobe as a way to showcase their status and superiority. That sounds like every single one of these dog vests. Attention grabbing outfits, validation, and control. Ooh, control. Any advertisement for these things right here, that's a big part of it. Control, adjust, last forever, compatible with this, tactical, all of that type of stuff. Control, control, control. When all you need is a freaking piece of rope, you freaking goofball. But that's what this is all about. And I know people are going to say, oh, but it's a service dog. Yeah, it's a service dog to Chinese plastic companies that ship billions of these over to our country every year. That's the only service that these things are serving. So, something else to consider while we're looking at all these numbers later on, while Americans spend a whole lot of money on these dog collars, kids go without clothing. So how about you spend some money on clothing? And the bigger picture of this, when all these Chinese companies that are connected, the military, the government, when they're looking at how Americans are behaving and they want to make sure their bottom line is protected, they're going to market dogs more than they market love of your fellow humans. So they want to shape your spending habits. For example, the Chinese own a lot of interest in Hollywood studios. So they're going to make movies with a whole bunch of dog stuff inserted into it. Like the bark track in the background. Like somebody in the movie owns dogs and it's has nothing to do with the plot, but it has a bunch of heartstrings that get pulled while you watch the movie. You know, I'm not watching the movie if the dog dies. Yeah. So the Chinese people are watching all of this stuff that I'm showing you. So now let's start looking at some of the downstream dangers of just dressing our dogs up in this stupid, ridiculous clothing all the time. Besides promoting narcissism and besides neglecting our children, there's a huge issue with microparticles, plastic and polyester and nylon showing up in our tap water. The city water systems aren't designed to handle it. So all this dog clothing and these vests, what happens when the dog inevitably chews it up? What happens when the dog pisses and shits on it? Well, it's going to go into your washer or dryer, and then it's going to go down into the city drain. So it's an item you don't need. It's an item that's going to break down and get into your groundwater. An item that comes from China. You don't even need it. Do you think the Chinese people are aware of this? When they have their big meetings and they look at hey, how much are these Americans spending on a whole bunch of clothing for their dogs? Oh, sir, their spending is up 43% on dog vests. Oh, great, all right. And do you think? Let's go back to this. Rufus. Let's ask Rufus to scan this for us. Does this promote microplastics? So it can't find any information. So what happens is the Rufus AI scanned this and everything else for those words. So they're not going to put that in there. They're not going to suggest that you keep the water that comes off of this thing, that it inevitably is going to break down and go into your groundwater, aquifers, and your city water systems. They're not going to tell you. So just a quick summary of my point. In China, the businesses have strong links to the government. It's a communist country. Their goals of their military and business and everything else, they try to line all that up. So if you're a business in China, part of everything that you do is going to be looked at by the government. So of course they know all this stuff that I'm telling you. So of course they are going to market dogs much heavier in the United States. Every ounce of effort that they have where they own any sector of marketing, they're going to market dogs. Pharmaceutical advertisements where the guy's sitting on the couch petting his dog. all that type of stuff. And I probably don't have to tell anybody, but the market for dog vests is very significant. It's just like any other dog product. It's growing by hundreds of thousands, if not millions, every time we go and look the numbers up. So, back to the dangers of the dog vest. So, do you know that dogs often overheat and they can die quickly, or they can have brain damage where they end up having seizures? And a big reason for this is because people embellish their dogs with clothing. They're constantly putting clothing on their dogs that they don't need. And what are these vests except for thick padding and cordura, heavy stuff? The color, let's go back. The color of these is often black or other dark colors. Oh yeah, you know they got pink and camo, but these are, these is a heavy piece of thermal mass connected to your dog that can easily make them hot. And you won't find that. Go ahead and ask Rufus the question. They won't tell you. So it's a danger to your dog. Another issue with dressing up your dog, they end up transporting fleas and ticks and bed bugs. Now I know people are going to say, well, bed bugs, they don't infest dogs, you dum-dum. Well, bed bugs don't actually infest anything, but they are known to catch a ride on clothing. Like this picture right here is one of the types of clothing that ticks can get on. So collars and vests and other type of things like that. You go into somewhere that has bed bugs, doggy daycare, shelters are often found to have bed bug infestations. A bed bug can easily catch a ride on that. So it's just another risk for your dog. The same thing with ticks. Ticks are constantly found on dogs. So you put one of these vests on your dogs, go to the doggy daycare, the dog park, let your dog run off leash out in the sagebrush and stuff, and there's some ticks. It's just another place for the tick to get a free ride and then get the opportunity to get on another dog. So those are some risks that come along with these vests. Overheating, ticks, bed bugs, fleas, everything else. You don't need this. Go get a piece of rope. Go support America. Quit buying all this crap. So now let's just do a quick little exercise to get an image of the money that Americans spend on this crap. Like this one right here, $24.99, 1,000 bought in the last month. So that's $24,000. This one right here, $35.99, 50 bought in the last month. So do you guys know about math? Let's go 50 times $35.99. That would be $1,700 per month. And that's just one of what? Hundreds and hundreds of these. So there's easily millions of dollars heading over to China for these ridiculous things. Yeah. So that's been our look at dog vests. If you want to learn more about the narcissism, go look in the reviews and do a keyword search for something like looks or cute. You'll notice that most of these people, they brag about how my dog is cute and how he gets all this attention in his little vest. So this is all about looks. This is all about dress up. You can get all types of little tags that say, my dog is nervous. My mommy thinks I just pooped. All types of little cutesy little sayings to bring more and more attention to these people that claim dogs are better, yet they need more and more products like this just to bring attention to themselves. And one thing I forgot to mention to everybody, brachycephalic dogs. Like these little Boston Terriers, pugs, and pit bulls, and now everything is a pit bull mix too. They have problems breathing already because their noses are squashed. And now you put this chunk of thick material right there on their chest that expands. You're restricting their breathing even more. Just put a freaking leash on them and quit being such a narcissist.